Microsoft are the consummate good guys, always giving away some cool stuff when it comes to the Xbox platform. Now, obviously, they're not going to give away the whole kit and caboodle time and time again, but it's always nice to see that they're getting some free games out to the folks. What's wrong with free content? I always ask this. A lot of people go, Microsoft needs to kill off games with gold, it's terrible, blah, blah, blah. And I would agree that the games tend to be terrible, but you know what? The funny thing is, the games with gold games tend to be like these smaller indie games that I actually don't have. So I always look at it and go, I don't mind that they have these games with gold. Like, if you take them away and you end that, okay, then what? What's it hurting getting some extra games? That part never really stood out to me. Xbox Live Gold is, let's just face it, basically Xbox Live Gold is one of those things that is very antiquated. So the idea that we get anything at all with that right now is pretty interesting. Now, through the years, we actually got a lot of Xbox 360 games. But you know what? I think it's so funny because most of the people that I know, including my own kids and stepkids, none of them ever bother to download any of these games, right? Isn't that a little bit crazy? Me, I downloaded them all, and it's the same thing with the PlayStation ones. Like, even if I don't download the actual games themselves, I add them to my library so that I can, if I choose to, because why not? Right? It's really just taking a second out of your time. Now, Microsoft right now is giving away some pretty interesting stuff. Free games. Are you going to say no to free games? I don't think so, right? Especially when one of them is actually pretty damn good. Now, it really kind of comes down to what you're interested in, but I thought this was a really cool thing to do. Yeah, okay, so this is interesting because Crackdown 1 and 2 are both free on Xbox right now as the sequel turns 13. So, once upon a time, though, the Crackdown series was a notable staple within the Xbox first-party lineup. While the third game only came out 4 years ago, wow, 4 years ago, can you believe that? That's crazy. It's the first two Xbox 360 titles that a lot of people have fond memories of, and one of them just turned 13. This is crazy how fast time flies, right? 4 years ago, Crackdown 3 came out. Now, listen, I'm not a huge Crackdown 3 fan, right? I'm just going to be honest with you. Crackdown 3, I thought was, a bit lackluster. Like, I don't think it deserved all the hate that it got. Much like Redfall, I don't think it was terrible. I just think that it was not doing anything to really bring it into the today type of situation that we have, and that's an unfortunate thing. I feel like Microsoft has done a pretty good job of making sure that they have games that are relevant to people, but with this instance, realistically they just kind of dropped the ball. I felt like it wasn't a great game. And Crackdown 2, the funny thing about that game is it gets a lot of hate, and I don't think that game's terrible either. I guess it's just one of those things, like, people like to hate on certain things. I don't know, but that game is okay. But the interesting thing is that both these games are backwards compatible, and Crackdown 1 is 4K 60 frames through backwards compatibility if you have a Series X or even an Xbox One X. So Crackdown 2 launched on this day back in the US in 2010. What's very interesting about this is I remember I used to watch X-Play. You guys remember X-Play on the old G4 TV? Not talking about that horrendous reboot that they tried to do. But yeah, the original one with Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb. And they reviewed it, and they thought it was a pretty decent game. But anyway, officially making this third-person open-world game a teenager in 2023. So we thought that they'd mark the anniversary by reminding you that the first two games are still free on the Xbox Store, so make sure you grab them if you haven't already. Like I said, backwards compatible, and it's a great thing on Xbox. As for the third iteration, you can still play Crackdown 3 via Xbox Game Pass, of course, if you'd like to give that one a go. The Series Xbox One entry never quite made the same impression that the first two games did, but Game Pass subscribers are still free to check it out if they want. The third game in 2023. The fate of this classic franchise is unknown going forward, but obviously we all sort of remember having a pretty good time with the first two titles back in the day. So happy 13th birthday, Crackdown 2. It might be worth loading up to see if you want to wander around and see what's up. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool that they were able to do that and offer, these games for everybody to play for free and download for free. You don't need to be an Xbox Live member. You don't need to be a Game Pass member. You can just completely download these and play them for free. So yeah, cool to see that. And again, do we actually want to see this game come back? This franchise come back? I don't know. I think it's not really for me to decide. Is there a way that they can do it that makes sense? Is there a way they can do it that's going to get people like hyped back up for it, that brings it a little bit more into the present day and time? Like, I think that's the thing that we kind of have to look at from that perspective, because we're finding more and more a lot of these things actually aren't the way that we saw them previously, right? Like, games aren't as good, or people are kind of moving on. They want the new thing. You can, unless it's Call of Duty, like, people seem to really love Call of Duty for whatever reason. But even something like Halo, people kind of move on to other things from that. Like, Halo was great at one point in time. I think it really peaked with Halo 3 and Halo Reach, but at the end of the day, people kind of moved on from those games, and we continually see why that continues to happen. So for me personally, I hope that we see Microsoft continue to do some great things in the future with the franchise. Maybe bring it back. I don't know. I think one of the things that hurt Crackdown, as far as I'm concerned, is the fact that Microsoft realistically, they didn't own the studios like that. You got to own the studios that you're doing these things with, right? Like, I think that's the main thing that you have to do. You have to be able to go ahead and own the studio, and you have to be able to have some kind of quality control there. Like, who would be the person or the studio to do a good job with this? I don't really know, but I can tell you right now that it's not the one that handled Crackdown 3. Like I said, I don't think that was terrible, but that game was kind of in development hell. Honestly, it doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. Again, for me personally, I think that Microsoft has made some mistakes in the past. But maybe that franchise is tainted. Maybe they don't want to take that risk anymore. So we'll have to see what's going on there in the future. But, again, when I look at this and I go, hey, you know what? Microsoft is doing some interesting things here. I personally feel like it is a franchise they could bring back, but they have to make sure to do things in a way that makes sense, so to speak. So anyway, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on this. Do you guys think that they should bring back Crackdown? Are you going to pick up Crackdown 1 and 2 completely free? Like I said, no cost to you guys. You can just go ahead and, pick up this stuff. I think that would be cool. Let me know what you think. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys all have a great day. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up. Thank you all so much for watching. And remember, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm looking for subscribers, or like the video. I'm looking for some likes on there as well. Thank you very much for rocking out with me. Have a great day. Crap Gamer out.